We are Chris and Bex, the Nomadic Crobot, or maybe you want to call us the not-so-Nomadic Crobot. Anyway, we're restoring this narrowboat now after finding a leak under the floorboards 2 days in. And yeah, it's been going on for quite a while. So one of the areas we had to restore was the kitchen here, and today we're going to be focusing on this little area. What is it? That, my boaty friends, is our secret underground hatch. So we had to rip all the floorboards up on the boat to get to the leak and rectify it. And then it was time to put the floorboards back down. But this time we're going to do it with sort of little hatches and areas so that we can keep an eye on the bilges down below. And this hatch also acts as a little fridge under the floorboards where you can store all your cool little groceries in. Awesome, isn't it? So after we'd sanded all the floorboards and nailed them back down, we coated the floor with a hard wax oil to seal it. The problem was that I couldn't seal the hatch door. Bex had realised that the hatch door was in fact very, very gappy. A few episodes ago she attempted all sorts of little tricks to ungap it, leading into a complete dismantlation and remantellation of the hatch door. But it is finally done, and that means that I can finally hard wax this hatch up too, and then the entire kitchen floor will be done and dusted. What could ever go wrong, eh? So hopefully by the end of this episode you're going to see our kitchen floor completed, another job finally off the tick list. So here we go, here's the kitchen. So exciting. But first, onto another Crobot dilemma. So let me talk to you guys about the narrowboat's water tank for a moment. So the first time we filled the narrowboat's water tank up, we realised that there was no overfill on the tank. Water just started coming up all around the bow area here, in all these little corners here, and it all started flooding here. It should be coming out of this little fella. Fast forward 2 years and we finally built up enough courage to climb down into the rusty water tank, and we wanted to carry out a derustation procedure. And while we were carrying out the derustation procedure, we discovered a hole at the top of the tank caused from rust. Now I'm guessing that maybe if we can cover that hole or weld the hole shut, that the whole water tank will then be completely sealed, so when the water does finally rise right to the top, it will spill out through the intended overspill output. Whoever had the boat last, or at some point, had fitted a ball valve down there in order for the water to sort of fill up, you know, like at the back of a toilet, to sort of indicate and shut off when too much water was getting into the water tank. But I mean, that didn't work either. So what we're going to do now, what is this? Hello? The babies are here. The babies need feeding. I don't even care about him, I just care about her, don't I? Come over here and we'll get you some foodies, guys. So Sopranella is the name of our pet duck. That is named after the late, great Tony Soprano because of his love of ducks.
Yeah, those ducks.
It's great! I want to explain to the viewers about our rusty water tank, and you've come along and stolen the show, haven't you? Sopranella is missing the webbing in one of her feet, and that is how we know it's her. She buggered off for a couple of years, but she's back now. Right, now we've got feeding time out of the way, let's carry on with the process of the narrowboat's water tank. So what we want to do now is replicate what we've done with the water tank and fill it up as much as we can while keeping an eye on certain areas to make sure that it's not just flooding into the bilges, flooding into the top here, and try and work out where that water initially came from, because that would be quite a simple little fix actually. And here we go. And yeah, I think the hole is on the left here. There you go. It sounds cool me talking like this. It sounds like I'm busy, doesn't it? Okay, let's start filling the tank up. Fill up for about 20 minutes before we've got to start worrying. Is this a good idea, do you reckon? Just doesn't want it really. So while we wait for that to fill up, I'm going to start messing around with some of our floorboards next to the bed. We ripped all these up too because of a said leak. So like with the kitchen, we're going to sand them all up and then we'll coat them too with the hard wax oil. But I'm just doing this while I wait for the tank to fill up, so I doubt I'll get all that done in this episode. Come to Papa, new orbital sander. Same drill, the adult glove. Health and safety first, always! You know, we're very health and safety conscious here at Planet Crobot. With this newer sander, you need ear defenders. It has a horrible little squealing sound. She purrs in the squealiest of ways. Must be careful with this one this time. No pushing. So in a second we're going to start work on the kitchen hatch. God, so many little jobs going on today, guys. Look who it is, the baby's coming to visit again. Hello. So yeah, they're coming up quite good. New sander looks pretty decent, I reckon. I really love the handle on that. You can really sort of force it down into certain areas that you can't get to. You can get right in the little gaps. I weren't pushing, was I? So let's crack on with this kitchen hatch because I really want to get this kitchen floor finished by the end of the episode.
You
all right?
Yes, caught me out having a moment with my hatch.
She's obsessed with her hatch, guys.
It's true. I have some sort of problem. Do you reckon there's such a thing as Hatch Anonymous? Ha! I'm going to hand it over to the man that is Chrissy Crobot to do the finishing touch on it.
Reluctantly.
Slightly reluctantly, I'm not going to lie.
I've obviously been going on about doing all this oiling for the last week, so now Bex is a little bit sort of, maybe I should come and do it with you. So I'm going to let her hold the camera.
I'm going to be a backseat hatch oiler.
Right, get your arse out, let's go. So we'll come back to the water tank in just a little bit. Ow, oily woily. Check out Becca's upgrade on the hatch. Looks fantastic. That does look so much better.
So these little buggers are what had me like going for ages. I've kind of taken out the flesh and just relined it with some little beading here. Just to finish it off because it was looking proper gappy. No one likes a gap that big, do they?
No.
Right, I'm going to hand you over to the expert oiler.
Shall I shake it, yeah? Demonic, some would say. Okay, microfiber roller nose. For those that don't know, this is known as a microfiber roller nose. It's essential for when you're using the hard wax oil.
And why do they call it a roller nose?
It won't work if you don't do the roller nose. The connection, it just won't work. Anyway, and I'm also thinking we could potentially keep it in our lovely Titan canopy at the back overnight so we don't get those oily fumes all in our lungs. I mean, saying that, I think it's actually really safe.
You can drink it and stuff.
You can't tell them that, they might drink it, Bex.
You can like cook your fried eggs with it and everything.
Don't listen to her, guys. Do not drink it, whatever you do.
Never take advice from this woman. Never.
Never.
What a weirdo.
Am I weird?
Absolutely.
It's finally starting to look like the kitchen floor. So this is just the first coat. Tomorrow I'm going to buff it and re-oil it, and then it's ready to sit in the floor. A new day, a new problem with the water tank. Try and unscrew the lid to the water tank, and then we can have a better look at this hole. Me and Bex had a little chat last night. We think there might be a few more problems than just trying to fill it up. Let's see what we're up against. I stressed out so much before when I was trying to undo these. They look quite easy, but they're so frustrating. Just little bolts, but they're harder, trust me, than you think to get them out. Inspector Crobot inspects things and then never sorts out the mess, just leaves it for someone else to do. Well, that one's coming out well easy. The glove is more powerful than the tool. Glove is a tool in itself now. The best tool of them all! That adult marigold. The workman's glove. Bloody horrible job. You'd think you'd pay someone to go down in these tanks, wouldn't you? No one needs to see this. I'll see you in 2 secs.
Just heard of some wings beating and then suddenly this little one appeared on the step. Oh, she's
got to climb down into our rotten water tank. Bex!
I'm here!
God, I didn't even have to ask. Look, she's already down there. She knows she's got to get in there and get a clearer indication of the rust hole. A bit of rusty going on there. Anyone would have thought we didn't get rid of all the rust down there when we scraped it all. What do you reckon, Bex?
Lessons learnt.
So up the top left is where the rust hole is. Do you want to go and have a little look? We've got that hole and it's on a corner, isn't it?
And you just make that out there. Goes right the way down to the water tank.
Maybe put your hand right in and have a feel around to see if there's any more holes down there in the rusty parts.
Do you want me to just get in the water tank?
She loves the tank, man, I'm telling you.
We have an inbuilt water tank that's built into the hull of our boat, and it has an overflow pipe which works by pressure action basically. So as you fill your water tank up and it hits the roof, it's a completely sealed unit and it kind of creates like a vacuum pressure, and so you know when it's full because it will force any excess water that doesn't have any space to go up through the overflow and out off of the side of the boat. However, because of this big old juicy hole in the side, that action can't be completed. It will just come and spill out of that hole and it won't create that pressure it needs to force it up and out of the overflow pipe. So we are thinking of ways that we can rectify that problem.
We're just guessing that that's how it works, really.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to find legitimate information, but by looking at it, in principle, that's how it appears to function.
yeah, because it would make sense, but because the overflow's never worked, so it's probably just come flooding out of that rust hole, I imagine.
In he goes. Watch out for the spiders.
There's spiders in there.
Loads.
That whole top bit is rust, like the bit around it is pretty much
It's not in a
rust.
good state.
I worry that because you can't weld to rust, you would have to somehow get a sheet in there, but it needs to connect to something when you're welding it, doesn't it? So try and stuff something in that hole, but do you think that's a bit silly?
We can have a go at that. Whether it will create enough of a pressure internally, I don't know, but we can try it. The worst that'll happen, it'll just come out the hole and we'll just have to quickly turn the water off.
So what, put the roof back on? Okay, so it's all sealed up again down here. I reckon I might get a bit wet, you know. All part of the fun. All worth it for the views. Right, so if I clamber in here, let's show you guys what I'm going to do. I've just put one of those crappy bits of exercise mat in that corner and I'm going to force it down. I'll be applying pressure from the top to stop any water seepage coming through.
So we're waiting to see if anything comes out of this little fella. Will it work or won't it?
We've got about an inch and then it's going to start coming through and I'll probably start getting soaking wet. You'll probably hear a lot of screaming going on, I imagine. So
the tension is mounting. Did anyone used to watch Big Brother back in the day where like it was just on constantly, like the camera's just kind of loosely on all day and then you just sit there for like an hour watching like the chicken coop? It reminds me of this.
it's all filled up in here. I think I was just sort of clinging on to some false hope there. Okay. Alright, we've got the boss in there now. Crowboss. Okay.
It's coming out that hole and then it's feeding round.
Off you go.
I think we might need to call in someone who's a bit more professional at these things than us.
Papa Crobot.
And he finds out by way of this video.
To remember me expert buffing skills. Look at here, she's mad, I'm telling you. Keep telling you guys, but you keep giving me all the slack. Okay, so we're going to give this a little buff. So what you want to do, you want to be very, very gentle and you just ever so gently.
Yeah, I'm the mad one.
Weird one buffing, isn't it? Am I doing that right?
I'm like a little goblin or something. What? I swear your ears are pointier.
That's my brain expanding in size and pushing them out. Use your head, you daft bugger. Itching, to be honest with you. You can leave that and you can bung the last coat on in the morning if you like, Bex. I'm sick of it.
That's a bit rude, isn't it? Jeez, half a job over it.
That is exactly how you buff.
So I'm here in the new back awesome room, covered over by our beautiful pram hood. The hatch has been in here drying overnight, so it is ready for its second coat. Roller nose at the ready. I don't do it as good as Chris. Let's give it a shake. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. There we go, she is all done. Oilier than Arnie in a vest. So I'm going to leave her to set for about half an hour, and then using Chris's excellent tuition videos, I'm going to come back and give her a buff. Buff! Okay, time for some buffing action. Buff! Right, I reckon it's time to go get the hatch and put her in her rightful home.
Yeah, we've just been having a toweling over this for the past year, so I'm so excited to finally have this done.
I am well stoked with that. It looks really good and it now fits. It's got enough of a gap around the edge so it shouldn't swell too much and get stuck. So hopefully that has fixed the problem from here on in.
So the hard wax oil seals this, and you've got to recoat it, I think, every few years. But it's meant to be great stuff for sealing your wooden floors, because you don't want them naked, do you? Get all sort of sauce drippings sort of all smeared into it. Anyway, look how cool this hatch looks. Bex has done it again, bless her, and now our kitchen floor has gone from this to this bad boy. Oh yeah! Crobot is getting things done. What do you reckon? Amazing, isn't it? Can't wait to store me little beers down there in the summer. And I'm sure Bex approves too.
Yes!